Hello there, TASOC designers. I am here to go ahead and explain to you how this rubric will work for your next assignment. We're going to be going through circuits. So our first assessment will be getting to know a little bit more about what a circuit is and go into a little bit more about what electricity is and how it works around us. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and start going into the kits themselves, find out how they work, and then you'll start inquiring and analyzing, you'll start developing ideas for how to utilize the Circuit Scribe kit to make something that you would like. So you really will have free reign of that once we get to that section of the unit. So as our task begins, you're going to be creating a blog, which we went over last class, and we'll go over to start the one for this specific task this class. And you're going to have to answer the following questions. So your factual questions are: what is the circuit? How does the light switch work? And how is electricity generated? Your conceptual questions will be: why is it important to understand how electricity and circuits work? And how does the silver ink that are going to be in your pens differ from everyday usable circuits? So how is it different that when we draw the circuits using Circuit Scribe comparatively to everyday usable circuits in buildings and that we have electrical wires for, etc.? And then we define electricity as one of the human needs. Is it a need in today's society? So tell me if it's a need or not. After you're able to be done with those, you can start looking up Circuit Scribe and start documenting some of the ideas you find. And then we'll see if we can be implemented with the resources we have if you want to go ahead and start working on those designs. So you go through and you answer the questions, and you also do some outside research about that. And then once the time's done, here's what I'm going to be looking for. So this is your inquiring and analyzing criterion. Okay, so a 0 would be the equivalent of an IE. It means that you do not describe any of the stuff above. It just means you basically have done nothing for the whole 2 weeks. If that does happen, just know that you may be out of the creation of the solutions section because you need to go back and remake those 2 weeks of work. To get a 1 or a 2, so states the need for electricity and defines the terms. So that'd be if you just went through the questions and you kind of gave one sentence or listed some answers. So states is this command term right here. It means with little details, just saying something. And the terms would be the different things that I want you to know about electricity and about circuits and about Circuit Scribe. State some of the main findings of relevant research. So you're still giving credit to everything that you need. So if you only give credit to some of the things that you find, you'll be here for that section. Overall, lowering your total score. So do make sure that you're giving credit to the things that you're looking up. To earn a 3 or a 4. Outline the need for electricity and how circuits work. So through the answers of your questions and through your research, you should really be outlining, which goes into a little bit more detail than states. Outlining would mean that you're giving some information, maybe some step-by-step lists, and telling me that there is a need for electricity and then how all those circuits work. States the steps need to complete, or that you need to complete to make a Circuit Scribe project. So for the Circuit Scribe project, this is then when you go into that other research and kind of taking steps that you need during the silver pen question. You can go ahead and start stating steps there, and then maybe going further with that research. Outlines one existing everyday circuit. So that means through the questions. So like let's say, for example, you do light switch, and you talk about the light switch with the everyday usable circuits and how electricity works about a light switch. That means you only ever talked about one thing. Okay, so that's only existing one everyday circuit. So describing answers to the questions above, which outlines some of the findings of relevant research. So it means that you're describing all the answers to all those questions. Describing would be something like a dictionary definition, which as we go down here, we start to go into explains. Explains is more of an encyclopedia definition. You go into more detail. Okay, so to get a 5 or a 6, you explain the need for specific things to research and methods that will make, sorry, it's not supposed to be car aerodynamic. That's for the other class. Specific things to research and methods to make your Circuit Scribe kit. So to make your circuit scribe project. Constructs a research plan, which states and prioritizes the primary and secondary research. You need to develop an idea about something to create using Circuit Scribe with some guidance. So at this point, I'll be guiding you through like different things that you could make, maybe having a lot more of those conversations. If you're someone that doesn't have that confidence, okay, then this is something that we're going to talk about. So really being able to get that confidence in making sure that your research is good at your own, through your own eyes and through your own ideas. Third one, describe a group of similar items through looking at Circuit Scribe ideas that inspire a solution to the problem. So as you're going through, really going into detail about different things that involve electricity and different Circuit Scribe ideas, utilizing that time for relevant research. If you are utilizing the time in class, you should be able to have several of those ideas. And then when you're describing those groups, it means that you're actually explaining what the idea is and how it's done. Okay? Then you go into explaining the answers to the questions above for the last part, which means going into a lot more detail. If you really want to earn that 7, okay, it means that you explain thoroughly and justify, which means you tell me the reasons for the methods that you will take to make your Circuit Scribe project with correctly cited research. Okay, sorry about that. And with your correctly cited research, we will be going over ML8 format, which will be what we use for all of our research citing in TASOC or at TASOC. So we'll be going over that in class. If all of your sites or sources are in ML8 format, then you get that section right there, because all of your stuff is cited correctly and explaining thoroughly, so making sure those explanations are detailed and that you have reasons for them. So you're not just going through and being like, I found this on this website, and then put the website there and then cite the source, because you didn't actually use it. You didn't justify it how it helps you. Constructs a research plan, states and prioritizes the primary and secondary research need to develop their Circuit Scribe project, explain how circuits and electricity work. So you actually go through the questions, you explain how circuits and electricity work, you show an understanding of all those concepts, and you start constructing a research plan of what you're going to do for developing ideas. So what websites you're going to go to be able to do that, what step-by-step plan are you going to do with the computers in the future to make sure that you start developing which idea you're actually going to construct. Are you going to do research with a friend? Are you going to do research alone? So these are the kind of things that I want to know. Analyze a group of possible Circuit Scribe inventions that inspire a solution to the problem. So once you analyze, you should be going through them, talking about the components that they have, the components that you may need, different things you might need outside of class or things that you'd be able to get in class that would inspire that solution to that problem. So really going through and finding out how those certain projects are made. Because once you do that, then we can go through your available resources. If your available resources don't meet what you want to do for your project, you either have to gather resources from someone else, which means make a larger team, or you're going to have to choose something else. Explain the answers to the questions above, which outline some of the findings of relevant research. Citing sources using ML8 format. In order to get a 7, all of your sources must be cited using ML8 format. Okay, so do make sure that we go through that you understand that as we go through it. This first class, I'm just going to let you do research. I'm going to have you keep track of all of the things that you find, so all of the URLs. And then the class after that will really go into detail about how to cite ML8 format. I'll also provide a podcast, and I'll see if I can find some other sources for you guys. I know that you have the sheet from Ms. Collins last year and that you've done this before. You can use citation machines as well as if you would like, or if you know how to use those. This is the rubric. Hopefully that helped you understand all the different parts of it. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know, or feel free to ask your peers, and hopefully this is good. Hope that you guys all have a wonderful project. Thanks again.